Ever since the end of Sonic 3, fans have been dying to know what Sonic 4 will look like, and what Metal Sonic and Amy Rose have to do with the future of the most famous blue hedgehog in cinema. And the first teaser helped us, even if in a very subliminal way, to understand a lot of what is going to happen. Main villain. The teaser shows the 7 Chaos Emeralds, with each member of Team Sonic reflected in them, besides Robotnik, Shadow, Amy Rose, and Tom and Maddie, together in another emerald. And the most interesting part happens right after. We see Metal Sonic's cold, lifeless eyes, making it clear that he is in fact the main villain of Sonic 4. But this probably has an even deeper meaning. That's because it's clear that the machine version of Sonic's goal is to get exactly the 7 Chaos Emeralds that appeared before he was shown, proving that he has been watching them for a while and waiting for the right moment to steal them. But why would he want the emeralds, and how would he use them? Let's remember that the emeralds are basically sources of almost infinite energy, and that was exactly why Robotnik wanted them, to use them as a limitless power source for his weapons of mass destruction and space stations, like the Death Egg or the Eclipse Cannon on the Space Colony Ark. Originally, Metal Sonic was created by Eggman himself not just to be as fast as Sonic, but to be superior to him in every single way. Over time, this programming evolved into a disturbing obsession. Metal Sonic genuinely believes that he is the real Sonic. In his twisted mind, the organic Sonic is just an imperfect, weak copy that needs to be exterminated so that the natural order can be restored. Considering this, it's not hard to imagine that he wants to do the exact same thing as Robotnik and use the emeralds as a power source for his own purposes of domination, which includes becoming the highly dangerous Metal Overlord, who we'll talk more about in a bit. However, besides the confirmation that the greatest of all the villains in the franchise will be in Sonic 4, the teaser also revealed other incredible things. Brace yourself, because we're about to blow your mind. Robotnik Empire. What if we told you that Metal Sonic didn't try to destroy Sonic in the post-credits scene of the 3rd movie, and the proof of that is in the new teaser? Would you believe it? Well, that is the absolute truth. When we analyze the promo for Sonic 4, we see that among the characters appearing in each of the 7 emeralds is a Robotnik. He appears inside the green emerald. This confirms the fan theory that Jim Carrey would return once again to play Sonic's arch-rival. But how would that be possible if he passed away at the end of the 3rd movie? And this time he really did bite the dust, unlike what we thought about the end of Sonic 2. This only strengthens the theory that this Robotnik, who will be in Sonic 4 and is the actual creator of Metal Sonic, isn't the same one we know, but rather an Eggman from another dimension. And not only that, there is a storyboard image from Sonic 3 that ended up not being used in the movie, which shows Robotnik as Emperor Eggman alongside his main and most powerful servant, Metal Sonic. This could indicate that the idea wasn't scrapped, but instead transferred to the 4th movie, where Metal Sonic was sent to our reality by the Emperor Eggman from another dimension to get the Chaos Emeralds of this new world, just like he did in his own, making himself even more powerful. This other world we're talking about would follow the storyline from the 2017 game Sonic Forces, where Eggman uses a reality-altering artifact, the Phantom Ruby, and a new villain named Infinite to finally defeat Sonic right at the beginning of the story. With the Hedgehog out of commission, the Eggman Empire conquers 99% of planet Earth in a matter of months, establishing an oppressive global dominion until the heroes form a resistance to fight back. And with that world's Sonic defeated, as well as the other members of Team Sonic, the leader of this resistance would be none other than the Amy Rose who appears in the post-credits scene of Sonic 3. But we believe the exact opposite is going to happen. Emperor Eggman won't get the Chaos Emeralds. They will end up falling into the hands of Amy Rose, originally the pink-furred hedgehog from Planet Mobius, who was unconditionally in love with Sonic. However, throughout the games, the character grew and got her Pico Pico hammer, which is exactly the first thing that appears in the teaser. More than that, we see the hammer simply shattering reality, as if it were a mirror, indicating that we'll have multiple realities existing simultaneously in the Blue Hedgehog's next movie. But how did she find Sonic in our reality anyway? This could perfectly tie into something that happens in the games. There, Amy can predict the future, knowing exactly where she would meet up with Sonic. And that could very well be what she did to manage to locate Sonic in the movie universe. Sonic 4 will probably pick up exactly where the post-credits scene of Sonic 3 left off, so we imagine that the first thing we'll see is a dialogue between Amy and Sonic and his friends. There she will explain what happened in her world and how our world is at risk due to the imminent appearance of Emperor Eggman in search of the emeralds and with the intention of dominating a new reality, just like he did with hers. We still don't have details on the development of the 3rd movie, but it's more than obvious that only the power of the emeralds will be enough to defeat Robotnik and his army of evil badniks and his special platoon of Metal Sonics. Faced with this situation, in some way that we still aren't exactly sure of, Sonic and Shadow will be unable to use their super versions, perhaps even because of a betrayal by Amy herself. However, by accessing the power of the emeralds, the pink hedgehog might end up transforming into Super Amy Rose, which as we know is a version that makes anyone invincible. Considering that Amy has super versions in the games Sonic Origins Plus and Sonic Superstars, both from 2023, all of this would make a lot of sense. This way, she finally defeats the Robotnik from her reality, also taking advantage of Sonic's goodwill and his Chaos Emeralds. But this is still far from being the end of the story, as we will explain better in a little bit. First, let's talk about Metal Overlord. After Amy Rose defeats Emperor Eggman, the story ends, and everyone goes their separate ways, right? Wrong. Remember we said that the main villain of the story is Metal Sonic? Well, just like in the games, after Eggman is defeated by the heroes, the robotic copy of our beloved Blue Hedgehog will finally put his plan into action, since this was exactly the moment he was waiting for. At that moment, Metal Sonic gains full sentience and decides that even his creator is an obstacle, and so he takes full control of the Eggman Empire. It's only at this moment that all the characters realize that their trip to that reality was part of Metal Sonic's plan to be able to copy the genetic data and the abilities of all of them to transform into the monstrous Metal Overlord, a final, definitive, and more terrifying form that Metal Sonic has ever taken in the entire franchise. He is the final boss of the 2003 game Sonic Heroes and represents the peak of the character's madness and god complex. Basically, he becomes a colossal mechanical dragon, a sort of flying monstrosity full of spikes, giant claws, a massive tail, and a practically impenetrable metallic blue armor. He is so gigantic that the heroes look like ants flying near him. That way, the heroes discover that the plan wasn't just to defeat Sonic, but to build a robotic empire on the ashes of the world. In this case, of both worlds. Now that's what I call a plot twist. With this scenario of imminent destruction, the only remaining option is to use the 7 Chaos Emeralds to transform Sonic into Super Sonic and Shadow into Super Shadow. But besides that, they will need to share the Emerald's energy with Amy, Tails, and Knuckles to form the so-called Team Super Sonic. The epic battle takes place in the skies of Earth in this other reality, and when finally, with a combined attack from everyone together, Metal Overlord has his armor destroyed, and he reverts to his classic Metal Sonic form. But as you can imagine, this won't be the end of the villain who was defeated but not destroyed. And if you've made it this far into the video, that means you're having a good time. So please click the subscribe button right now. It's totally free and it helps us out more than you can imagine. Shadow. At the end of Sonic 3, we saw not only the appearance of Amy and Metal Sonic, but we also found out that none other than Shadow is still alive and kicking and ready for more action. And how is Shadow going to fit into this Sonic 4 story that involves Amy Rose and a Metal Sonic army coming from another dimension, or who knows, from another moment in history? That's where a very interesting detail comes in that only Shadow can pull off, and for that, he is going to use the chaos energy coming from the emeralds. In fact, this energy responds to the thoughts and emotions of those who use them, and it can be converted into positive or negative energy. Among the things that can be done with this power is chaos control, which is a technique that allows the user to bend space and time. It can be used for instant teleportation, to stop time for a few seconds, or even for time travel. And in that sense, Shadow is an expert in this technique, being able to perform it with the power of just one emerald. So after Sonic is taken by Amy Rose to her reality, and his friends look for a way to help him return, Shadow will be the one responsible for pulling it off, creating an access portal to Amy Rose's reality with the chaos energy contained in his bracelets. After all these events, Amy invites all the others to stay in her reality since their original versions no longer existed there. However, only Shadow accepts the proposal to help the Pink Hedgehog rebuild her world, as a form of redemption. Both Sonic, as well as Tails and Knuckles, return to our Earth only to find a scenario where Green Hill is devastated, with destroyed houses and cars on fire. In the midst of the chaos, a greenish ball of energy lands in front of the group that just returned. As soon as it dissipates, it's possible to hear someone's footsteps heading towards Sonic, and then we can clearly see the silhouette of a new hedgehog. Only this time he's silver. He then asks them who Sonic is, and of course the blue hedgehog introduces himself, only to receive a punch from the new character. After hitting Sonic, the silver hedgehog introduces himself as Silver, and says he has come from the future to do one single thing: take Sonic's life. And that is how we believe Sonic 4 will end, with a perfect cliffhanger for Sonic 5. And as for this 5th movie, we'll talk about it in another video. We've also handpicked 2 more videos for you to enjoy and have fun with. See you in the next one.